is Crystal of Atlan or COA. This is an MMO anime game, but it also has some gacha. Right off the bat, you can select multiple characters and you have multiple characters. I have this existing character, but there's actually other characters. The one I'm actually playing that I'll show quite a bit of is the puppeteer. There's also the fighter, the Magastar, the musketeer, the swordsman, and they have subsets. In this case, there's Cloud Strider, Starbreaker, which unlock at level 15, and then at level 45, it becomes permanent. The puppeteer, I chose the Scythe Guard. Maid Maiden, I also chose. This is kind of how stories work. You have like these stages, kind of like Honkai Impact, or what Honkai Impact used to be. Your stamina is separate, so it is separate on each character. 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Just complete, we could actually continue, and it just starts up on the next one. This is a boss. There are actually chests on the map that you can collect. I don't know if this consumes exploration stamina. However, they give you rewards. I think they're one time. Now, XP isn't based off of kills, it's based off of completion. Gacha is set up for outfits that have buffs within them, and your total summons contribute to these cumulative rewards. Pets are limited time, and I'll talk about the pets just to show what the gacha is. I guess there's also shop redeems. They're quite expensive. It's kind of difficult to get this currency. I got this from a server reward. Just look at the blessings of the sky. This is what this outfit looks like. They have buffs, and as you can tell, they have ratings that provide and set pieces that provide bonuses for your character. You can also turn off the appearance if you like don't want it. For example, if I go to my character, the outfit, we can just turn off the appearance. If you notice, there's actually this starlight earrings that actually are a downgrade or a stat that equip the 350 rating and actually boost our total score. There's different rarities like E, this is A, there's the double S that was in the gacha. Titles unfortunately also come with benefits, which I'm not a fan of. So just to show what the gacha animation actually looks like, it's pretty cool. Don't know what the double S looks like, but hey. At 60, you're guaranteed to get one of these. There are different sets. I chose this set. I don't know if I could show if there's other sets. I could switch it. The Supreme one, Golden Title Insignia, and Inheritance Star Pack. Don't know what the other three are. Like I said, this looks like this is permanent for now. Look at the chances. The probability is 1.6, so it's actually higher than most gacha games, but it's just outfits. Think of like Star Rail or Genshin. In Wuthering Waves, it's 0.6% for S rank or 5-star. Again, you can get experience out of this for your pet. Talking about pets, you can actually select 2 pets that become the main one is the first skill, the secondary is this other skill, and you can actually switch them. I have this shining crystal fox as the first one. So you can see this is how combat is set up. So with this upper tier, actually 5 is the pet skill, which that fox heals, and then the default that you get does a fire damage some sort. You see, you can chain all these attacks together. When you're in a story mission or a challenge, there's a 10-minute limit. Sometimes there's a higher limit. You actually chain these skills together. These are set in your skill tree. That's the ultimate. This is actually what's called an elite stage, where you fight bosses. This is once you finish a chapter, you can go through and do the elite stages. There's the ultimate again. Just chain different skills together. And once you complete a challenge, it'll give you a score and it'll give you a bunch of rewards. It'll also give you XP for your pet. This is a crafting material. These are used for the the final tier boss of that chapter in the Abyss dungeons. Actually also drops gear, so it's actually showing some gear that is better. Actually, select the gear in the mission that can actually replace the gear. So your gear also has ratings. You can go through and actually enhance them using a material called spare parts. It increases the primary stat on it. There are vouchers to increase the score, since as you're upgrading your ornaments, the success rate drops. Eventually it gets like less than 10. I don't know what the limit is. I think the limit's either 12 or maybe it's 15. I haven't gotten that far yet, but you can see like on a +8 item, it's 5% and it costs 5 of these spare parts, which that was actually successful. So while it's important to enhance your gear as your level, you can also craft, have different material requirements. For example, something at 35, I need this jade feather plate, which costs these materials, and they tell you where they're at. So under district is a exploration area. After in chapter 2, there's also PvP exclusive stuff, which I haven't gotten to yet. Again, that'll probably be a second video. Within these equipment, you can actually attach what are they tell you the slots. They have these main attributes. So this is like crit rate. What I've equipped is ASP. My ASPD is basic attacks and skill casting speed, and it's increased by that percent. It'd be 3.6. And so all these, if you remove it, which I'll do, it does place it back here. So you can switch stuff around. There's no consequence to that. And once you finish a challenge, you could either continue. This is true for the story too, or you can exit. If we continue, we'll actually fight another boss. Just to show like another boss fight, we're going to rotate through skills. These have different cooldowns. It's kind of an interesting combo system. My more favorite skill is because it does a lot of damage. Slash with the puppet. This seems like a dual boss. We're gonna use our ultimate. You can also heal hitting R, and there's a cooldown, so it's kind of like a typical MMO. Those you get through Gacha, dailies. You do a story mission or a elite challenge. It takes stamina. So I have 100 out of 120 stamina. The stamina resets every day. I don't know if it resets by time like most Gacha games. It says it refreshes in 8 hours, so it's every day. You only have 120 stamina. I don't know if that increases. There's also this other stamina bar that I'm not 100% sure what that is, but that's used in challenges also. And these are your dailies. There's also weeklies here. This goes towards a battle pass. Rewards. These are spare parts from breaking down items. Just look at the daily rewards. You get a revive capsule for getting 20 points on your dailies. You get a battery pack on 60 points. You get more potions at 80 points, and you get a calibration compass. Now, calibration compass, that's what these are used for. These can randomize your stats. So I guess the appropriate thing would be like randomizing that, which ended up not working in our favor. You can think of it as like there's a mechanic in Tower Fantasy for certain items that you can like randomize the stats, similar to that, and eventually it works in your favor. There's also advanced calibration. I'll use one to show, so it slightly increased it, and this helps increase the performance of the item. You can tell our lowest calibration about 30%, which means I'll randomize it. And it decreased to 29. I actually don't have this equipped, so I probably shouldn't be wasting resources. The E indicates what's equipped. It's embarrassing, but you can cook, and it costs this stamina for gathering, cooking, and crafting. So you're actually limited, and that resets every day too. So it's not like Genshin or Star Rail or any most Gacha games where it restores progressively within that 24-hour period. Also, you know, you're limited on how much you can collect with gathering, cooking, and crafting. Now I have leveled up, and I like to show this. So you have points you can go through. I've actually unlocked some new skills. So this is Ancient Echoes, which I guess summons different marionettes. This is where you can configure your skills. So I could throw this in somewhere. Probably like right there. It costs, you have to have a certain character level to level some of these. And it costs these skill points. Increases your score. And some of these have PvP exclusive effect. And at level 45, you unlock Awakening, where you're locked into this specialized class. So in this case, I'll be a Scythe Guard. I'll be locked into the Scythe Guard. So before level 15, weird combination kit, it goes up to level 10. And this is true for all characters. You do get daily packs that are free. And what you get in those packs are these injections that restore HP. They can't be used in PvP. And you get a revive. You get a lot of these revives. You do collect boxes that have stuff in them from rewards. There are limited inventory slots. Fortunately, you're limited to what is shown here with your inventory. You do need to actively get rid of stuff. Let's try a ranked match solo. Of course, you have to match make or PvP. Right now, we're fighting an actual person. Let's see how this goes. So we actually crowd controlled them a little bit. Char, don't want to give them an opportunity. Okay, I'm going to move back. I'm going to ult on them. I'm just using my basic attack too. You are limited on dodges, so you can only do 3 dodges, and there's a cooldown on each dodge. I don't think that person was very happy. It kind of just crowd controlled the entire. So hopefully that doesn't happen to us when we do PvP, but I don't know. And these daily rewards, it's battle points. You can exchange them for different stuff. I guess you can create a lot. There are personal rank rewards, which you can get Vanguard artifact along with insignias. Here's the store where you can exchange stuff. You can actually get expansion per character up to 8. I guess 8 times 5, so 40. You can buy like weapons, probably not useful. Buy these Vanguard artifact boxes. So that's what's within. You can get these vouchers to instantly upgrade something. 2 plus 13 elixirs, which come with different buffs. There's B grade rewards, which have 80% chance. This is an Abyss dungeon. It tells you a recommended level. a little over leveled. You need these hunter lights, some kinds of gear drops, but it's all RNG. So let's actually do this. So I mentioned challenges earlier, the elite. This the final challenge in each chapter. There's an abyss dungeon boss. And once again, just like other bosses, you have to clear the enemies beforehand. This is the first major boss you fight. It's a bit annoying to destroy these orbs. I don't know if it looks like it's based off of the threshold. Now there's gonna be 4 orbs. So friends, almost our first kill on her of the day. You know, the rewards. I got hunter licenses actually out of that, and some potions, some other materials. So let's try a matchmaking. So you can matchmake with these bosses. It does count towards your daily, I believe. You can assist, which will do. It won't consume stamina, but you won't get rewards. So that's like if you're with a friend. Doesn't look like enemies are stronger in this case either. Now you do get damage statistics in your team, where I'm doing the most damage, but I'm over leveled. We're gonna deal with the orbs. There aren't any more orbs, so when you're playing solo, it's essentially the same with these bosses. Oh, we killed the boss. The boss sort of glitched out, and that's it. And it leveled up. Now there is something called Tempered Trial, which gives you gold on a daily basis. I'm sure there might be other rewards for clearing higher waves. Oh, it's gonna have me start at waves. I thought it was gonna start me at 1, maybe with certain thresholds. The bar at the top of the screen means you need to kill these enemies within that time period. When it goes beyond that time period, it starts degrading that golden bar. So you just keep on clearing these waves, and eventually there'll be a boss. So your time's really not on your side. I believe every day this changes, so it may be easier or harder depending on what you're fighting. So now that golden bar is degrading because I haven't killed the enemies quick enough. You're technically supposed to do this in multiplayer. I think after a certain wave, I think it's wave 270, you can only do it solo. Again, I'm also not optimized. I'm lower level. This is like, I'm assuming an end game mode. Wave 270 is quite a bit. Fighting a boss. Now, as you can tell, early on this character, the puppeteer is really strong. And in PvP, as you noticed earlier, we were sunlocking people. I will make another video in the future when I try out other characters and I reach endgame at least on one character. I think this will be the character I do endgame on, and I'll definitely show more PvP just to give my thoughts about that. This is a good example of like what bosses can be like outside the story when you're not in some crazy challenge mode. Talk about those other challenges. Now, achievements give you a total score achievement points. I don't know if that contributes or anything. There's a bunch of different achievements. I don't know if the achievement points actually mean anything at the moment. There's also a codex that tells you pretty much about all the gear, insignias. There's collectibles or crafting. There is trade. I don't want to waste my gold, but yes, there is trade. It looks like, for example, if I wanted to get a giant scythe, I could. It's obviously not my level, but people put them up for auction. But the Star Seeker there, I'm not doing that, but I could. You could also put spare parts up there. There's a consignment, which I don't know what this is. Opal. I'm sure you have to earn it somehow, but you can get gold from it. Or I guess you could sell gold. I don't really know how that works. It's a fee transaction, which takes the premium currency too. So maybe not advised. But in challenges, there are tempered trials. There's Arena that I unlock in chapter 2. I haven't done that yet. Eventually there's Void Realm, which I also need to unlock. And there's Golden Fleece Challenge, which unlocks at level 55. For all my thoughts about this game early on, I like the progression works in the game. It's pretty fast leveling, and then if you switch to another character, you still have to do the story, but you can kind of just skip through everything. It skips cutscenes. There's a setting for that. And I like how PvP has separate gear. And I like how this also isn't like a normal gacha game. You're not pulling for characters or weapons. However, where I have a problem, you need to use these outfits which are gacha based that have these buffs. Now, how strong are these buffs? I don't know. I mean, like, for example, that's 3% increase in basic attack and skill speed. It makes me a bit unhappy. There's not really easy ways to earn the gacha material. This is clearly has better scaling, higher stats. This has a special passive attached to it. How big of a difference that makes, I don't know. And I'm guessing hopefully these don't apply in PvP because that would be incredibly problematic. I actually don't know if they apply. So there are more things I want to investigate with this game, like relics or artifacts like in Genshin or disc drives in Zenless Zero or echoes and Wuthering Waves. You have the circuits. I think that's a really interesting mechanic because it offers more build potential. And the fact that, you know, it's each piece of armor has a circuit offers a lot of different possibilities. I don't know if there's different sets that you can get with those later on in the game, maybe when you're level 55. I don't know. Early on, it seems like you could just kind of breeze through the story. I mean, you can hit skip if you want. It gives you a summary of the dialogue. There's definitely lots of attributes of a gacha game, but also an MMO. We're definitely seeing the MMO components, but the UI is like set up like a gacha game, so it's kind of interesting. Now, this is where there's insignias, which I forgot to talk about. These provide damage boosts, and I don't know if you can remove these. I did forget to talk about this. But overall, I really like combat is in the game. I think the combat's definitely the strongest. I think the capabilities that the combat have make it really fascinating. You can chain these different combos. In this case, I could just do these 2 attacks back to back, and you can configure it. And I think that's really interesting. I could have had that AoE attack before the triple projectile attack. The ultimate system's interesting too. Systems where they provide abilities, like this one heals and this one does damage. If you like MMOs and you like combo attack games, this isn't like your traditional like MMO in the sense that you're just casting abilities, because there is movement involved. You need to dodge. Movement on these skills too. You need to chain these together, and yeah, you have to do that in MMOs, but this is more set up for it's like more like a fighter combat, right? Like Honkai Impact. Except when I say this game is worth playing, that's up to you. With the stamina, of course, it makes sense to have it not share between characters, but that means if you're going to do your dailies, you got to do it on each character. So maybe it's a blessing that you don't get premium currency in dailies, but it is unfortunate. It's almost exclusively that you have to buy it, unless there's some end game challenge that provides it. Maybe you get like PvP events, I'm not sure. But at the moment, like exploration and doing challenges and achievements doesn't give you anything for the premium currency. So you're kind of locked out of these outfits that have these buffs attached to them and passive. Now, will they add more to the game in terms of the gacha? Maybe, probably. That's where they make money, right? It is a free game after all. The game has great animations too, so art style is a bit, maybe a little bit like Tower of Fantasy, so not the greatest anime game graphics, but it doesn't look bad either. It could be worse. It's definitely very cartoony. Voice acting is great. I think this game overall, it intrigues me. I'm not a big fan of MMOs, but I'll keep on playing just so I can check out the end game content. Again, this is a game where like you could play for a couple hours, and then if you're not interested, you just uninstall the game. It's like you spend any money. It's certainly not your average MMO, and it's definitely not your average gacha game. However, there's a nice world map, local map, which you can also switch between different things. So exploration zones are combat zones. So I would just check like exploration zone out. And again, there's items you collect with these if you wanted to. Another positive thing about the game, yes, there's outfits, but you can actually change your, you could dye your outfit if you wanted to, or your hair, which yes, you can change all kinds of aspects. You can add, you could import with a code, you could export, you could do a different PO, you can toggle weapon, accessory, bobble, badge. Weapon doesn't show. You can actually check out what other outfits would look like. There's also crystal dye. You have full control over the color. And this character has a, you know, the marionette, which is like their skill. Change the colors on them too, which I actually did at one point. There's different presets. All just change your appearance. You can change the eyes. You can change your hair. It only costs gold. Now, dyeing costs a separate material. I think this is one of the benefits of this game. Is yes, you have stuff restricted to gacha, and then some of it you can just... Overall, this game is great. I'll definitely want to see what endgame looks like, but early on it seems fun. The character progression is really rapid. I mean, it really didn't take me this long to reach level 38. It took me maybe a couple of days, and some of that was just doing like dailies. I actually just sat down into the story. I'd actually be well ahead. The story is also great, I'll add. It's not the most amazing story, but you know, that's expected from an MMO. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Check out the game. I'm not sponsored to tell you this, and I'll be making more videos on this game amongst other gacha games. Kind of a new set of content that I wanted to do is just review as many gacha games as possible. See what's bad, see what's good, see what's interesting. And this is the first one I chose because I actually thought it was a character gacha game, but it turns out it's just outfits. But it's still an interesting surprise for an anime game. Pretty interesting early on, so I hope you enjoyed. See you in